3D audio is going to be
Sony
a game
has
changer in the
had
world
a
of
big
video games. I'm pretty sure Tecmo Bowl has a speed run.
Hello, and welcome back to this week's Most Elite Podcast. Guys, I suffer from this form of perfectionism. And, in my youth, it used to get in my way a lot. I used to always put things off to all right, I'm going to not do that until I'm doing this, or I'm not going to do this until I'm doing this. And, I know I suffer from it, so when I catch myself doing it, or catch myself on autopilot, I was like, oh, come on, do the anime, slap your face twice, slap your cheeks twice, and I get to it. Occasionally, sometimes I don't upload on my channel for like a week or so, and it's a couple of reasons. One, I do work a full-time job, as I've mentioned many times on the channel before. So that being said, I'd like to shout out my Patreon, which you can find in the description below. If you're feeling extra generous and want to get me out of poverty, you can go over there and donate. Aside from the full-time job that I do work, I have tons of other stuff going on outside of work, such as always, doctor's appointments and things like that. Now that I'm like a little older, I need to take care of my health, and I've mentioned my several dentist appointments. I have another one coming up this Friday. So yeah, I'm just trying to take care of myself. I bought a tension rod recently to get ripped, trying to get shredded this summer, so when the inevitable war for water takes place, I'll be cut. I'll be one of those guys from Hotoko no Ken. You know what I mean? That's Fist of the North Star for people who aren't weebs like myself. But anyway, occasionally I get caught on autopilot, and I only want to really upload games on this channel and talk about stuff on this channel that's interesting to me. Because if I like it, I'll be passionate about it, and the more passionate I am, the better the episode will be. Now that can backfire sometimes. I did a Diablo Immortal podcast that's not on this channel. I edited it and stuff, and I went back and listened to it, and it sounds too much like I'm defending Diablo Immortal, because I know it's trendy to shit on that game, even though pretty much every fucking mobile game is just as awful. But that's an argument for a different time. Yeah, it sounded too much like I was defending Diablo Immortal, so I didn't upload it. But I only really want to do games and stuff on here that's interesting to me. So when I want to play a horror game, like I did Madison, right? Now Madison, it's a good game. I'm not taking anything away from Madison. It is a good game, but it's just Visage, right? And Visage is just PT, right? There's one area. The whole game takes place in a single setting, a house normally, and you're stalked through this house by demons, right? It's always demons. You can never fight, but you can die. That was popularized by PT. The PT created a 20-minute game, created an entire genre. That's to the credit of its designers, Hideo Kojima and all the others who worked on it with him. Those guys did a hell of a job with that thing, and it created a genre. And there are some good games out of it. Visage is one of them. Visage is a good game. Madison is a good game. There's a third one in there. I don't remember the name of it. But I don't care about that, I like survival horror. I love Resident Evil. I love games like Resident Evil. And I know you could be like, oh, we'll play Them and Us. I've played Them and Us. It's a little unpolished, but it is a good substitute for the fans who like that Resident Evil feel, right? Sure. But there's tons of other cool, interesting indie games. The only thing is they're mostly just chapters, because they're made by one or two people. And, they have release dates of 2023 or whatever. You guys remember on my channel I did Resident Evil Gaiden, the Game Boy Advance game. I love that game. I really do. I did beat it, but as I told you before, I lost all the fucking footage, so I couldn't upload it. So outside of playing it over, which it's really, really hard, believe it or not, that game is crazy hard. But outside of playing it over, I can't re-upload it. But there is a game heavily inspired by Resident Evil Gaiden called You Will Die Here Tonight. If you go look at the trailer, you'll be like, yo, this is new Gaiden. And I've been waiting for that game since I saw its trailer months ago. I feel like almost a year now. I have no idea when it's coming out. It's on my wish list. All I can do is hope, right? But I want to put stuff up on the channel, but I don't want it to be boring. I know you guys probably watch, for those who watch my channel, you probably watch tons of other channels similar, because normally you watch similar things of your interest. And there are a ton of channels who cover weekend game wrap up, news and stuff. And I've done a couple episodes like that. Believe it or not, this episode is like that. But this little intro is me just injecting my own personality into it because it feels so humdrum. You know? Like, it doesn't feel good but the only reason I do it is because I do want to keep uploading, if not every day, at least 3 times a week. And it's hard to do with the job and every stuff. And I'm not making excuses, but I mean, it's just the way it is right now. When I can get out of this sort of cycle of poverty that, we're all born into, maybe I'll upload every day. What do you know? But until then, it's got to be 2-3 times a week. And that's what it is. That being said, let's move on to some gaming news updates of the week. TennoCon took place. For those who don't know, that's Warframe's big convention. They used to have it in person. I'm not sure they had it in person this year because of COVID, or if they did, I'm sure there were some rules. I don't know. I watched it on Twitch, so I didn't even watch the whole thing. I just watched some stuff. During that, they announced Warframe's sister game, Soulframe, which is Princess Mononoke meets Warframe, and I'm here for it. It's got my interest. Look, I love Warframe. I think it is the greatest loot game MMO RPG. I think it's the game Destiny wants to be, and I think if Destiny's ever going to get there, it needs to decide. I've said this many times, it has an identity crisis that has lasted like 10 years now. Is it a loot game? Is it an MMO? It has MMO in the title, but it's not an MMO. It's far outclassed by every single MMO on the market. Is it a loot game? Sure. But it's far outclassed in terms of loot games by shit like Borderlands, right? It's got to decide what it is and hard lean into that. And it can do it. It has the talent, people behind it. People shit on Bungie, whatever. These guys, they've refined what Destiny is. Can't knock them for that. I mean, it's basically a glorified mobile sim, right? Like, it's a mobile game. Destiny's a mobile game. But I feel like if they want to really exist in the same sentence as like Final Fantasy 14, right? WoW, even World of Warcraft. They want to exist, KOTOR, stuff like that. If they want to exist with those games, they got to decide. So I always say that if Destiny wanted to be good, they should look at Warframe. Warframe does it all right in my eyes. I mean, it has flaws, sure, but I mean, the game is just fucking massive. There's tons of stuff to do. Being a new player is not a fucking nightmare like New Light is in Destiny, and it's just so many things. It's a proper MMO. And it's an action one, it's not turn-based. There's not, like in Final Fantasy 14, maybe the combat might throw some people off because it's all in rotations. It's not exactly free combat. Now, old school MMO guys are like, that's all combat in games. What are you talking about? Combat has moved past that, but it works for 14, it works for WoW, it works for lots of games. So those games still have a place. Like, look at Lost Ark. That's all rotations and shit. And that's a proper MMO as well, with Diablo-esque combat, which, captured my attention because I love Diablo. But alas, I hate MMOs, so I don't play it as much as probably I should. So that's news update 1. Sister game to Warframe called Soulframe. We hadn't shown any combat. We just showed off this crazy trailer with a giant Finra-esque wolf. And like, you're betrayed in the beginning, and then you wake up, and then you got a mask, and then you don't have a mask, and you free up some dudes with nature powers. Your arm is like nature. I don't know. It looks good. Looks good. We'll see when they show some gameplay. They're going to show gameplay before this year is over. It is only July. We have 3 major things coming up. The Gamescom, August. Tokyo Game Show, September. And the Game Awards, December. Between that time, we're going to see some gameplay for that. For sure. I don't think they're going to give us that and then they're going to Metroid Prime us, right? Like with the title card, and it's been like 10 years, right? Right? I don't know. Oh, big news item that everyone's covering, everyone's playing. Stray came out. The cat game. Cat. You play as a cute, adorable cat. I don't know its name. I've played the beginning. I got to the point where you get their little robot buddy, B12. And I was reminded of American Dad with the B12 boy band. And it's a fun game. It's probably really short from what I've read. And that's okay. It doesn't have to be long. I'm excited to finish playing it. It's definitely worth playing. It's only $27 on Steam. I don't know how much it is on console, but it's worth buying. It's really cool, and you can tell the developers really cared. So it's worth playing. The Spider-Man PC system requirements were revealed. So, you want that ray tracing, you're going to need a powerful machine. Not that it matters. I mean, if you haven't played that game by now, like if you don't have a PlayStation, you're a PC only loyalist, and you never got a PlayStation to play it, this is your time. That game is fantastic. So is Miles Morales. Hopefully they bring that to the PC as well. And the sequel that's coming. But yeah, no, that game's fantastic. Even with the rework Peter, because the original version had older looking Peter, which I thought was cool, but then they were like, no, let's rework his face, and because Yuri Lowenthal's his voice, and Yuri he's like a kid voice, right? So like, let's make him more look kiddish. I mean, it works, it's fine, but I like the old Peter. Whatever. Maybe it was because it was the first one I saw, right? It's fine. I'm used to I read comic books, so when a main character changes their face completely, it's like, oh well, whatever, right? Like I'm so used to it. So that's just me. But for other fans who don't read comics and stuff, that I can see how that would have been a little jarring. I mean, what do you do? What do you do? No Man's Sky has updated again for like the 20th time, and I wish I was exaggerating, but I think it is its 20th free update. It's called Endurance, and it's 6 years of updates for No Man's Sky. Unbelievable. Those guys really turned it around. They righted the ship in a way that I have not seen since Phil Spencer righted the ship for Xbox after their abysmal, disastrous launch way back when. It was like, online only and all that shit, and he came and was like, fuck that, and he fixed it, and Xbox has done great things with Game Pass and shit like that. So the big props to Hello Games, and I hope they just keep doing great things. Xbox can now use Discord voice chat. So if you guys are on PC and you're playing with your Xbox pals, say something like Duty or Apex, and you're like, I fucking can't talk to them without game chat. I hate game chat. I'm always in my server that I nitro boosted, so it's got a lot of shiny stuff. Why can't they join? Well, today's the day. Now, starting today, the 20th, to date this episode, I don't care, Discord and Xbox have full compatibility. So if you're on Xbox, download Discord right now so your PC friends can stop yelling at you. I'm saying that as I look in the mirror. Moving on. Faker, the League of Legends superstar, he's filing a lawsuit against fans who slandered his mom and posted obscene drawings regarding him. So he's suing them for libel, obviously. He'll probably win. With fame comes a certain level of the law working for you. Not so much when you're poor, but when you're rich, it has a way of working out. So you'll probably win. And hey, if you feel you gotta sue these trolls, go for it, man. Shut the trolls up. Do whatever you feel you need to do. Absolutely. Graphics card prices have come down considerably ever since the pretty much free fall of the crypto market. So if you've been holding out on that 3070, 3080, 3060 Ti, now's the time. They're pretty much MSRP almost everywhere. I don't know if you want to buy a used one because those used ones have for sure been used to mine, and the wear and tear on them, I can't speak on it. I know that puts a little bit of stress on them, and the miners use them 24/7. So that's completely on you for what you want to do. If you see a really cheap one, just know it's been mined, and I don't know about its shelf life, and you can't get it's not like going to like a Micro Center or something. You can't get like a warranty on those items. Shout out to Micro Center, by the way. They haven't sponsored this video or anything, but I just love that place, man. It's just always like, it feels like going into Toys R Us when I was younger, right? You go into a Micro Center, you're like, oh my god, so much cool stuff. My head's spinning. I just spent hours just walking around, right? You good? You gonna buy something? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna buy something. I don't know. But that's how it feels. Speaking of Toys R Us, moving on to the next news item. Toys R Us is making a comeback and are expected to be back in many states by the end of the year. On the one hand, it's like, wow, Toys R Us, I thought it was over for Jeffrey, right? That's crazy that they come back. But then on the other hand, it's like, wait, didn't they have all those people sue them and stuff for like mistreatment of employees and all this scumbaggery that they were pulling? Right? So I guess they're too big to fail. Who knew? I mean, it's just tough stuff. So, there's a new, speaking of Lost Ark, oh my god, there's a new class in Lost Ark. I forgot to mention in my Lost Ark stuff. I gotta start writing this down. I gotta stop being so stream unconscious. But I have like little cliff notes here. I have a Notepad++ open, and it's like things to talk about. Anyway, Lost Ark has a new class that's they charge up cards and throw them like Gambit from X-Men. Looks pretty cool. I won't lie to you. Oh my god, this episode's almost 15. Well, we'll stop it there. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in for this week's Most Elite podcast. Like, comment, subscribe if you want, and have a good day. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.